All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are so happy that you are joining us today for our second session of our Desktop Diner series. Today, we'll be talking about mind over money. As you continue to jump in and are admitted into this meeting from our money mentors, just a quick reminder to you that we are leaving all of our cameras off. All of your lines are currently muted. And as we ask questions throughout this presentation today, we hope that you will participate through the group chat option on the side. Just type in your answers to our questions, and that will help make this presentation a little bit more interactive and a little bit fun. I will tell you that the Money Mentors and myself are working from home today, as are many of you, I'm sure, doing work and homework and school and everything from your residences. And we do sometimes face some internet issues. If the internet were to drop, we will rejoin into the same Zoom meeting. No need to leave. You can hang out, chat with my money mentors in the chat box, and we'll get the meeting kick-started again if that were to occur. And lastly, just another home housekeeping item. We will be recording this, and my money mentors, that's a quick reminder to you to make sure that we are recording, and the slides will be sent to you after this meeting in the form of an email message probably next week. So with that, I just wanted to say hello. My name is Amy Nelson. I am a financial specialist at the University of Nevada, Reno, and I manage the Nevada Money Mentor program. On the line with us today, we have three of our Nevada Money Mentors who will also be helping me facilitate this presentation today. I have Dee, who is a journalism major and a personal finance content creator for us and manages our social media, and will be talking to us about emotional spending. Also on the line, I have Devin. He's a money mentor, a finance major at the university, and will be talking to us about having positive and negative money mindsets. And to wrap us up for the day will be Adalia, and she will cover just sort of a process and some best practices and tips to push you through some of the tough times that we face with money. So as I mentioned, today's session is mind over money. So questions for you. Do you wake up worried about money? You might these days, right? Do you check your balance on your bank account multiple times a day? Or maybe you avoid completely looking at your balance because you just don't want to face it. Or on the flip side of that, you could perhaps save every single penny that you make, right? We are all so different in the way that we manage our money, the way that we think about money and look about money, and have various money personalities. There was a study done by the Northwestern Mutual back in 2018, and they said that 68% of Americans felt pretty good about their financial situation. But then there's some shocking statistics that others also are feeling some negative money emotions regularly, such as anxiety. 54% of those in this study were feeling anxiety when it came to money. 52% were feeling very insecure, and 48%, almost half of the group, felt fear. And I know that's a sense that we're feeling a lot these days with the COVID-19 issues facing our nation and the world, and there's a lot of fear out there. So money can definitely be a dominant source of stress, especially in today's environment. So today we're going to walk you through, where do those money emotions come from? How do we spend based on those emotions? Look at positive and negative money emotions that we have and how we can get all of these emotions to help us work in our favor when it comes to personal finance. So before we do that, just wanted to make sure you know who we are. Nevada Money Mentors is a program on campus that helps students with their personal finances. We are a free resource to all students. We work in the financial aid office on campus and are currently continuing to run our program and as much as our services as we can virtually. I'll talk to you in a moment about financial coaching, but we do also offer workshops such as these. Now we just went into Zoom to host them. We also have fun events when we get back on campus. Hope you can find us at different tabling events, and we will make presentations in classes. So if you have a class that is in need of a guest speaker, or maybe a club or an organization where you're still meeting virtually, we are happy to coordinate with you and come up with some great presentations for your classes and or for your meetings. Financial coaching is one of our most popular services with Nevada Money Mentors. This is where we sit down with you as a student and work one-on-one with you and just say, what do you want to get better at with your money? How can we make you feel more confident in the direction that you're headed with your personal finances? So we meet with you, as I mentioned, one-on-one. The sessions are completely free. They are confidential, and we do not share any of your personal information, nor is there any judgment in the process. So we're not going to sit there and scold you for continuing to order DoorDash every night during a quarantine, right? It's meant for us to work together, the coach and the participant, to help you set your financial goals and then really create solid action plans to get you on track to meeting those goals. So a lot about coaching does involve accountability. That can be a love-hate thing when you see that word accountability. But what we do is work with you to really get you on track. And right now, with the times being as uncertain as they are, we hope that you'll reach out to us to schedule an appointment and just kind of get that second opinion, have somebody to talk to about where you're currently at with your finances. So with that, where do our money emotions come from? We all have them. And we might not be aware of it, but we spent our childhood really picking up on how our parents and significant role models in our lives related to and handled money. So over time, our brains have subconsciously been trained to respond in similar ways to what we witnessed as children. So if your parents were really confident in their money abilities, chances are that you will also be likely more confident as well. But on the other hand, if you experienced your parents or those who you lived with or loved ones barely getting by, and maybe you've seen some arguments or some just disagreements in regards to money, you probably have some pretty strong feelings when making certain purchases. So take a moment to reflect how money was managed in the household in which you were raised, right? Who managed it? Was it your mom? Was it your dad? Was it someone else that helped step in? I know when I was a child, my father had gotten ill one day and we went to and took him to the hospital. And he was hooked up to some machines, and my mom took my brother and sister and I down the street to a fast food restaurant to get something to eat while my dad was healing. And when we were in there, my mom said, I'm going to buy you guys some milkshakes to go with your lunch. And when she reached into her pocket, she realized that she did not have the money to be able to buy the milkshake. And the sadness that came across her face and sort of a sense of defeat and shame that she felt when she was in that situation was something that I would never forget. And luckily that day, the nice restaurant owner came over and gave my sister, brother, and I some free milkshakes. So she didn't, wasn't burdened with having to pay or having to tell us no, that we couldn't have them that day. But it was something that I never forgot, that feeling around not having enough. So we all have stories like that. And they can definitely leave long-lasting impressions on what we think and how we feel and what we spend our money on. So to add to that fact too, is that formal schooling does not really include much on financial education. So when we headed into college, for most of us, we had little to no financial roadmap. There's a couple of financial psychologists, Bradley Klontz and Tom Klontz, and they said that money emotions are typically unconscious, developed in childhood, passed down from generation to generation within families and cultures, contextually bound, and often only partial truths, right? So the truth is that the problem is not money. It's how we approach money, how we think about money, and then how we handle money. So a change in our financial situation will start with a change in how we think about money. So let's answer this question for me in the chat box. What emotions come up when you think about money? What are some of the emotions that are coming up when you think of money? So go ahead and take a minute and put some answers in our chat box, please. So I see anxiety causes a lot of stress for many folks, especially as I mentioned where we're at right now. There's just so much that we're unsure about with our income. Will we have jobs? There will be anticipated budget cuts coming up, and that can then, stem into some more stress because we have expenses that need to be paid. So thank you for sharing that. So with that, let's see how our emotions and what we're really feeling can impact our spending habits. So now I'm going to pass the floor over to our money mentor, Dee.
Hey guys, I'm Dee. As Amy introduced me earlier, I am a personal finance content creator, and I'm basically going to explain to you guys like what emotional spending is and how it affects us. So, emotional spending is basically when you spend money on items as the result of an emotion, whether you're happy, sad, stressed, whatever emotion you're feeling. And normally it's something you're buying something that you don't really want or need, like maybe you decide to buy a new purse but you don't actually need a new purse, or you didn't particularly care for that one but you wanted to buy it. um and then some examples of this can be when you might buy yourself something to treat yourself after getting a raise at work, or you're bored. During this quarantine, a lot of us are locked at, we're inside all day, every day. We can't leave practicing social distancing unless you're going to the store. So you may think, oh, well, I'm bored. Let's go see what Fashion Nova has on their website, or Forever 21, or what stores what sales H&M is having right now. And so you may decide to go online shopping. And then a lot of people emotionally spend when they're feeling sad or depressed because it serves as a nice pick-me-up. You go out and buy something, whether it's food or electronics, and it makes you feel, most of the time better about the situation. So like I said before, people tend to buy clothes, electronics, food, and other expensive things when they are emotionally spending. Um, and Buying something, like I said, can make you feel happy. Now, in the bottom right corner, you will see this picture of a movie, Confessions of a Shopaholic. Personally, that's one of my favorite movies. It's about a girl. The girl in the photo is the main character. In the movie, her name's Rebecca Bloomwood, and she lives in New York City, and she has a shopping addiction, and so she has a ton of credit card debt because when she goes into stores to buy things, she just uses her credit cards. And there's a debt collector who's always calling her, and she's continuously telling him like different lies, and all of her lies as to why she can't pay her debt off always include something about Finland. And her reason for shopping is that it makes her happy. And so throughout the movie, she starts working at a finance magazine, and eventually she ends up going to this support group for shopaholics, and she pays off her credit card debt. Um, so yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. 10 out of 10 recommend. So now we're going to talk about how to avoid emotional spending, because while Confessions of a Shopaholic is kind of like a cheeky look at overspending and emotional spending, it can become a serious problem, and it's best to avoid it altogether. So the first thing is unsubscribe from mailing lists, and that's print and digital. And I would also say turn off your notifications, because when you have different apps on your phone, if they're having a sale, they'll give you like a notification and be like, oh, today's 50% off. Like I have the Domino's app on my phone, and I get notifications from them all the time. And they're like, oh, today it's 50% off, or, buy two off the $5.99, each menu, trying to entice you to spend when realistically you weren't going to spend that money beforehand. So unsubscribing from those mailing lists may, remove some of those things from your view. And then the next thing is the 24-hour rule. So it's basically when you see something that you want to buy and you decide, okay, I'm going to wait 24 hours and I'm going to ask myself tomorrow, do I actually want this? Do I actually need this? And normally 24 hours later, if it's something that you don't want or need, then you'll be able to acknowledge that. And you're like, I don't think I really want to buy this. And that will definitely help with impulse buying. Third of all, tell friends and family so they can hold you accountable. Like, whenever it comes to goal planning, you always tell a friend or a family member, so that way, when you're kind of falling off the wagon, they can remind you and be like, you know, this is something that, you said that you wanted to work on, so it can remind you. And try to replace shopping with other activities that you enjoy, like painting, reading, hiking, cooking, etc. Because these are all free things that you can do without breaking the bank. And last but not least, if the temptation to overspend is too much to control, then you might want to consider getting professional help. That could be a financial advisor. It can help you plan and go over your finances. Or if you realize that the emotions are running too deep, then you might want to consider talking to a therapist. So now we're going to have Devin come in and he's going to talk to you guys about negative versus positive mindsets.
Hey, thank you for that intro. So yeah, like Dee was saying, now we're going to talk we're going to take a look at what a negative money mindset looks like and what it really does to your financial situation. And to do that, we have to start off by saying that this mindset isn't dormant in your life. So it actually works to prevent future possibilities and goals from happening. So let's just take a look at some of the phrases that are associated with this sort of mindset. I don't make enough money to save. I'll never pay off my student loans. You need money to save money, or you need money to make money. So you can really see now that this mindset really shoots down financial goals before they reach the air. But let's dig a little deeper. If you look to the right of the slide, you can see a cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT model. According to the National Association of Cognitive Behavioral Therapists, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is based on the idea that our thoughts cause our feelings and behaviors, not external things like people, situations, and events. So now we could work one of these phrases, let's say, I'll never pay off my student loans, into this model. If you have this thought, it's reasonable to assume that it will lead to a sense of hopelessness or loss of control. Now, these emotions towards student loans can lead to behaviors like never even trying to pay them back, never looking into different methods, and maybe taking out more because you know you're never going to pay them back anyway. All this will subsequently influence your future thoughts. Now, it's pretty easy to tell how badly this can affect someone's financial situation, right? We can all share how we feel in this next question. So how would you feel if your debit card was declined at the store? And feel free for anyone to share how they feel. So we have mortified, right? So that's definitely, yeah, I can see George, you think the same way. So yeah, being mortified isn't something that is, surprising in this sort of situation. And I know personally, if that were to happen to me, I would feel a little embarrassed, a little shameful, depending on why the card got declined. But either way, it's an uncomfortable situation that no one really likes. And maybe you'll think a little bit more next time on how much you spend, and maybe you'll just feel bad about your finances in general, right? So now let's try to think of a positive mindset, right? A positive mindset really works the opposite of a negative mindset. So where the negative really prevents you from taking steps, the positive pushes you into the next step closer to your goal. So let's now take a look at some positive mindset phrases. So every penny counts. I can do this by blank. I will get blank done, right? Really positive stuff. So now we could use the same every penny counts phrase on our CBT model. So think of it. If we think every penny counts, our emotions will indicate that you are working hard and focusing on your goal. This emotion towards saving will lead you to behave in ways that save more and more money, and of course, change your future thoughts on saving money. Now we could discuss a positive situation with our next question. How would you feel if you got news you won the lottery? So yeah, excited, thrilled. Kind of one and the same, right? So winning a lot of money is obviously a very thrilling thing, right? You win a lot of money, you're kind of sure what you're going to do with it. You have a lot of opportunities in the future. This sort of situation kind of harbors a positive thinking, like nothing can stop you on what you want to do, because money does bring a lot of opportunities with it. So a positive event will create a positive mindset also. So now let's swing it to Dahlia and the steps on how to go from a negative to a positive mindset.
So thank you. Like Devin said, my name is Dahlia and I'm a peer mentor. So I'm just going to expand a little bit on Devin's points. He really talked to you guys about what a positive versus a negative mindset looks like. And I'm going to share with you the process now. If you're more on the negative mindset side, how do you work on having a positive mindset? And I think you can really get there with these 6 steps. So step 1 is forgiveness. Sometimes, we're really too hard on ourselves, and in order to create a positive mindset, we first need to forgive ourselves. We're human, we're not perfect, and it's okay to make mistakes. But it's really important to recognize what you did, learn from it, and then move on. Number 2 is understanding. Understanding yourself and where your money mindset is now is really key. Do you know where your money mindset is right now? And if you had to describe money with one word, what would it be? If it's a word that you may consider to be on the negative side, can you reflect a little bit and think of a time in your life when you had a positive association with money? If your mindset changed before from positive to negative, then who's to stop you from changing it again from negative to positive, right? And it's just important to understand where you are and how to work towards having that positive money word and attitudes. So step 3 is stop comparing yourself to others. Personal finance is personal, so everyone's money goals and lifestyles will look different. There's no one way to create a positive money lifestyle and attitude. Just being able to focus on you and what it takes to accomplish your money goals can really give you a lot of control over your situation. And it's really important to create attainable goals for yourself and celebrate the wins. And then when you finally do get there, make sure you update your goals once you reach them. Number 4 is create and maintain good habits. Once you know what you would like to accomplish, you need to develop good habits and ensure you'll reach those goals. And there's lots of different ways to do this. One way is the money minute. This is where you take 1 minute every day to reflect and evaluate your finances. Whether that's tracking or budgeting, just take 1 minute out of every day to think about your finances. Another way is something that Dee mentioned earlier is having a good support system. Just finding a buddy to hold you accountable and work on your goals together can be super powerful. And another way is with Nevada Money Mentors. We're a free on-campus resource, and we're here for you to work on your goals with you if you want to in a judgment-free zone. Number 5 is budgeting. I know sometimes when we hear this word, we think it's boring or a chore, but I promise budgeting can be a really useful tool in helping to understand your finances and maintain those good habits. I like to compare budgeting to a planner. I personally use a planner to keep track of my classes and homework assignments, and I would be so lost without it, especially now with all of our classes being online. But a budget works pretty similarly. It's like a planner, but for your checking account. It helps you keep track of your coins and figure out which expenses you're anticipating in the next few weeks. So super important. And then lastly, step 6 is being grateful. Practicing gratitude can be super powerful. Sometimes the simplest practices can make a really big difference in our lives. Building a habit around gratitude can train your brain to recognize the positive things in your personal finances and help you get on track to a positive money attitude. So those are the 6 steps you can be taking if you want to switch from a negative to a positive mindset. And I believe that is all the information that we have for you on this Mind Over Money presentation. But if we go to the next slide, I want to share with you guys the other webinars that's in our Desktop Diner series. Next week, we actually have Stranger Loans, which is our next presentation. So if you want to register, you can go ahead and register with the link that's found in the flyer. And if you can't make it to that one, no worries. We'll have another one after that, which is Money Myths, and we'll be doing some myth busting about money. So I hope you guys will register and join us for the next few series. And then the next slide is staying connected. So if you guys would like to go ahead and follow us on our social media, that way you can stay up to date on all of our events and presentations, that would be awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we really hope to see you at the next series. Okay, have a great day, everyone.